We're preparing to launch to go and visit a giant of the ocean, a creature that's longer and wider than our boat. Weighing in at 60 tons, these marine animals are highly sensitive and they're large-brained, yet their greatest predator is humankind.
She's traveling through the wild, she's searching for the truth. True nature's child, she's gonna find the proof. Picking up the trail, she's gonna find the answers. She's gonna tell the tale, she's gonna tell the tale. Keep it wild, keep it free. This could be our last chance to see.
Wild Limited's location, Gansbaai in the Western Cape. The mission? To view the magnificent southern right whales that grace the Cape Coast during their breeding season. Our boat is captained by Wilfred Cheville, a veteran of boat-based whale watching with an immense respect for the ocean and its beautiful creatures. The mood on the boat is both contemplative and excited as we scan the rolling waters for the first sight of these ocean giants. Suddenly, we felt like somebody was watching us. It's incredible, we're not even a kilometer offshore and we're surrounded by 4 or 5 whales. We knew this was right here in our own backyard and something to be protected, something to be cared for. The southern right whale was so named because it was considered the right whale to kill. These slow-moving giants became one of the most ruthlessly hunted of all whale species. They were protected in 1935 after an estimated 200,000 met their death at human hands. These animals are so calm, they're so sensitive. We predate on them. We are the only predators. It was only in 1970 that harpooning whales was finally banned. Today, only 3,000 to 4,000 southern rights are left. It's up to our generation to ensure they don't become a memory on the list of extinction. Working hard for the southern rights is Wilfred Cheville and his trusty boat, the Whale Whisperer. A custodian of the ocean, Wilfred educates by giving us the opportunity to get close and learn their secrets.
Okay, that's the mother with the calf, so we're just going to move away. She's very relaxed. There's the little baby lying on its back. Lying on its back, look at that. There's the white of the tummy and the 2 slippers. We're not allowed to go to mothers and calves. This time of the year, there's quite a number of mothers and calves moving into the area. And we think that the nursery of the whales is probably around the whoop area. So most of the mothers that's going to give birth go to that area. And once the calf is about 2 to 3 months old, they start migrating to the west. Slowly turning. There's the eye looking at us, guys.
Now, there's a lucky few that have got permits, and it's illegal, if you do not have a permit, to go closer than 300 meters away from the whales. Wilfred, how is this monitored?
We're a self-regulating industry, and obviously the government wants the permit holders to tell them if there's people not going according to the law and regulations. And we as operators should also inform people, because not everybody knows about the rules and regulations. So
sounds to me like it's a case of instilling respect in human beings for these creatures.
Absolutely. Lots of people see a whale, dolphins as fish. They're not fish. They have to come up to breathe. They're very sensitive animals. They hear us kilometers away, and our philosophy on the boat is, even if you can get to close to 50 meters from the whale, if you see that the whale is uncomfortable with it, you move away.
What kind of reaction do you get from people here on the boat when they see a whale for the very first time?
The southern right whale is the best whale to watch. They're very friendly. They stay on the water for a long period of time. They're curious and they come close into the boat. And every time that whale comes close to the boat and it turns around and it looks at the people, it's a spiritual experience. It's a fantastic experience. Lots of people just start crying because it's really emotional. Specifically if you have the background of what we've done to them.
In spite of being killed en masse to satisfy human needs, southern rights are inquisitive, trusting, and appear relatively fearless of people. They are the showmen of the ocean, delighting us with the range of spectacular communication. Like spy hopping, where they raise their head above the surface. Flipper slapping or lob-tailing, slapping their tail on the water surface.
A whale slap is just like a high five.
And sailing, where their heads stand in the water with their flukes held aloft as if catching the wind.
Okay. Those bumps that you're seeing on the head are called callocytes, and callocytes are basically rough skin that grow into horn-like warts, almost like the warts that you and I have. On those callocytes, barnacles find a fabulous anchor, and in those little cracks, whale lice grows, and that's what creates those huge big lumps on the southern right whales. What are the signs, Akira, that you're seeing that lead you towards finding the whales?
You see, most especially the whale is blowing. Sometimes it's pick up the flipper or the tail. Sometimes you see the breach.
Breaching is another form of communication between whales. Seeing one of these giants lift out of the sea and splash back is unforgettable. To comprehend their size, you must see them live.
The size for the whales about 14 to 17 meters. This weigh about 40 to 70 tons.
Wow. 40 to 70 tons?
Yes, 40 to 70 tons.
Okay, let's just put that into perspective for you. If you take a look at a full-grown male rhino, you're looking at 1 ton, 1.5 tons tops. And now we're talking about an animal that weighs up to 60 tons,
yes.
70 tons.
70 tons, yes.
That's something to be respected, eh?
Yes.
Even with whale harpooning banned, humankind remain their only predator. Oil spills, thoughtless pollution, and stripping the ocean for human consumption are causing long-term irreparable damage to our oceans and all her creatures. As small as we are in size compared to whales, we still create such trauma in the lives of these intelligent mammals.
It seems to me like the majority of people living on this planet are about conservation and preservation. And it's such a pity that there's a select few that are driven by greed, that are driven by ignorance, and that are driven by making a quick buck that seem to ruin it for the rest of us.
Within the grandeur of the sea, with its wild, untamed beauty and power, there are creatures that evoke inspiration and others that conjure fear.
You see the white beds?
30 meters, 11 o'clock. Look at the dorsal fin. And he's definitely... Sarah, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Ooh, look at the size of him.
Look at that, look at that. And
Oh
the
my
sand,
goodness.
whatever. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That was
There's
unbelievable.
another one over there.
There's two great whites.
Sorry, your way.
There he is, there he is, there he is.
Beautiful, look at that, look at that.
Oh, wow. It's not just whales, it's great white sharks as well. Yeehaw!
Here's another one. Oh, look at that, look at that. Well, I'm still wondering what was.
This is unbelievable. I cannot believe the sighting that we are getting of these white sharks. It kind of makes me think that we should actually jump into a cage and go and view them from beneath the ocean.
She's searching for the truth. She's searching for the truth.
We've just touched the tip of all that's to learn about our rich marine heritage. The Whale Whisperer returns, having educated more people about the intelligence of life beneath the ocean. We're heading out again tomorrow, but before we do, we're spending time with Wilfred.
Wilfred, how has boat-based whale watching impacted on tourism?
By going onto the boat, they get dedicated and trained whale guides to tell them more about the animals. That draws more people to the area.
How do you ensure then that boat-based whale watching doesn't impact on the whale populations?
I think all of the operators is very conscientious. They know that these as animals are not fish that can swim away, so they respect the animals, and that is critically important. The big problem in a country like South Africa, though, is there's hundreds of other boats that also go to the ocean that doesn't know the animals. They don't have a code of conduct around marine mammals, and that is, to us, a massive problem. And it's not because they want to impact bad on animals, they just don't know better. You get to know these animals. You start to see little things that they do that other animals don't do, that you get the feeling of them. They're really majestic animals. You know, they've been hunted by us, they've been killed by us, they've been nearly exterminated by us, and still they come to our coast and they are still friendly. They still come up to the boat, they turn their face and they look at the people. It's incredible animals.
With the majestic whale still strong in our minds, our journey takes us to Two Oceans Aquarium to meet a controversial predator. Great white sharks. A grossly misunderstood fish. Persecuted rather than seen as the powerful beauties they are.
South Africa is very fortunate because you have Dyer Island and Seal Island within 9 kilometres offshore between here and False Bay. And so that obviously means that the sharks are a lot closer to shore than other locations in the world. In fact, there's pretty much nowhere else in the world you can go 30 minutes from shore by boat and encounter great white sharks.
So it's a major draw card for tourism into the country. Do you think that more people are understanding that sharks need protection?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Literally within the last decade or so, ever since the film Jaws was released, there was so much sort of controversy about the shark, and most people that think of the white shark sort of have this nightmare image in their head. But the cage diving brings you close to the animals and shows that they're not actually that aggressive at all. In fact, they're extremely elegant creatures. So yeah, it's definitely spreading the right sort of awareness about the animals, and it's a positive thing at the end of the day.
But the nightmare image still exists for sharks. A genocide is taking place in our oceans. White sharks are being killed en masse for their fins, which apparently